Greetings, folks, and welcome to today's show. As we've mentioned a time or two, the election season is upon us. In Tullahoma, we have 2 seats on the City Board of Aldermen that are up for election, and we have 2 on the school board up for election. Each of those has a total of 4 candidates involved, so you're going to have to make a decision, and because there are 4 of them and we're a half-an-hour show, we have chosen to do just 2 candidates at a time, so we have a little more time to examine each one of them. So today we have with us Renee Keene, and she's going to tell us about herself, and we also have John Riley. And so welcome both of you, and thanks for taking the time to share your views with the crowd, the voters out there. Either of you held public office before?
No, we haven't.
No.
Neither one?
No.
So you're running for the first time?
Yes, sir.
You have been very active in the chamber.
Yes.
I remember. That'll probably come out when you're telling us something about it. So I also want to remind you folks that the election is August the 1st, and since we're about to get on July, that's not very far away, and early voting will begin on the 12th of July and run through the 27th, so that's even closer. So time for you to start making some decisions. With that, folks, let's take a short commercial break and we'll get down to business.
The highest standard of trust offers a sense of safety and comfort. It's established over time. You know when you see it. You know when you feel it. There's a standard of trust in healthcare. It's the Joint Commission Gold Seal of Approval. In 2003, Life Care Center of Tullahoma voluntarily achieved this accreditation and maintains it still today. Life Care, meeting a higher standard because residents matter most.
Are you a shoeanista with no place local to find your style? Well, now you don't have to travel any further than Bren's Shoe Boutique, located at the Village on Jackson, 1940 North Jackson Street, Suite 120 in Tullahoma. From funky to formal, you can find the fit and style that will make you smile at Bren's. A shoeanista herself, owner Brenda Kemp offers brands like Rocket Dog, Jessica Simpson, Mia, Nine West, J. Renee, Bandolino, and more. Want that accessory splash that none of your friends have? Bren's offers a selection of one-of-a-kind handbags and jewelry with just the right bling. So if your shoe selection doesn't stack up, find what you've been looking for at a price you can afford at Bren's Shoe Boutique, now open in Tullahoma.
Let the Smokehouse be your mountain getaway destination in beautiful Monteagle, Tennessee. Enjoy our cabins, restaurant, and old general store. Shop thesmokehouse.com featuring homemade barbecue sauces, jellies, and many other fine Tennessee products. Our live Music on the Mountain series features some of the best local and Nashville talent every Friday and Saturday night, 6:30 p.m. No cover, kids welcome.
We're back, folks, and we're talking today with 2 of the candidates for the Tullahoma Board of Aldermen. They are Ms. Renee Keene and Mr. John Riley. So I always give the candidates an opportunity to say what your background and qualifications are that you think put you in a position to serve well, and why you decided to run, and why it should be you instead of one of the others. So let's do that, and Renee, let's start with you.
Well, thank you. Well, Tom, I'm a native of Tullahoma. I'm a 3rd generation. I've been here, and needless to say, invested in the community. Most people know me, but for those who don't, I'm a volunteer by nature. I have volunteered for many organizations here in Tullahoma. Started many years ago with the Women's Club. I've worked at Rock 10 for over 20 years. I'm a customer sales rep and project coordinator. So I've been involved with the community and given the opportunity through that to be with the schools and work with the schools and to be a liaison for the CEO Creating Educational Opportunities program.
Good.
So that has given me the opportunity then to be on the board of directors for the Chamber of Commerce. I joined them 9 years ago and was fortunate a few years ago to be asked if I'd be president. So moving up the ranks, you do. So last year I was the president. And it gave me a lot of insight, met a lot more people, and have really enjoyed that. And had several people come to me and say, we would like for you to consider, you need to consider being in public office. You care about the community, you want what's right, and you have no ulterior motives, to say the least. I just want to help. I just want to be involved and do what I can. I feel like I can serve the community well. Everyone who knows me knows I do it hard when I do it, and we'll try to do the best that I can to serve our community. And that's really what it's all about.
Okay. All right. John?
I came to Tullahoma in 1981. I was with Pan American World Airways. I was on the Guided Missile Range Division in the Eastern Test Range. I came to ADC and set up an emergency management program for Pan Am. And since I've been at ADC, I've formed the On-Scene Commanders Group, which I was an on-scene commander and graduated from the university. I'm also chairman of the Armed Services Working Group, which is made up of all retired military officers and reservists throughout the United States. But we actually end up with just Tennessee and Kentucky. Those are the only two states we have, but there's throughout the United States. When I started with ADC, I noticed they had a swimming program, which was not really a swim program. And being as I had been in swimming and diving, I represented the United States in Panama, and so I know about diving and swimming and all that. So I went ahead and volunteered to help organize the Tullahoma Swim Club, which I run for about 6 years. So I know the importance of the pool. I'm also a chair of the Red Cross for quite a few years here. I'm on the executive board of the Salvation Army. And I just feel that I wanted to run for office because I have a lot of interest. I feel I have a lot of knowledge and experience in this type of operation. And I just feel that it opens a lot of doors. And I just like to be in the community. We find Tullahoma an excellent place to live, raise a family. I don't think you could find a better city in the United States. And that's one of the reasons I really like to run, is make Tullahoma a better place than what it is.
Okay. Well, with that, let's take a short commercial break, folks, and we'll come back and go some more.
Who needs this modern world? I can live just fine out here without the road rage and boy bands. Of course, I might miss my Charter HD with football on ESPN and Walking Dead on AMC, ESPN and AMC. And, well, Shark Week on Discovery HD, but that's all. AMC, ESPN, Discovery, TBS, and Comedy Central HD, but that's it. Except for HBO HD.
Charter now has over 100 HD channels and more brilliant HD shows on demand than ever.
We're back, folks, and we're talking today with two of the candidates that are running for the Tullahoma City Board of Aldermen, and they are Renee Keene and Mr. John Henry.
Okay.
John Riley, I'm sorry. Well, let's get into a city issue. We've just been through the budget process. As a part of that, which is always controversial, The mayor proposed a 25-cent property tax increase, primarily in support of the schools and also to build what he calls a new splash park, which is the replacing of the outdoor pool that we've had, which we're all aware has been out of commission for a couple of years and really had outlived its usefulness before that. So those are the two areas where the additional money was needed, and so I'd like your views on that. Did you watch the budget process? What do you think of what they're trying to do, and what do you think of the tax increase they say is necessary to do it? John, let's start with you this time.
Well, the tax situation has two ways. I think the mayor got where he almost had to raise taxes because of the schools. But one of the areas that I would much rather have seen him do is cancel some of the projects we have, postpone some of the things that we have on the books that we're doing now. The other thing is the roof on the school. Is it really needed this year, or could it wait another year? So these are some of the issues that I feel we could have probably looked at and maybe not have to raise taxes. Taxes cause a lot of problems, especially if you're trying to bring new industry in. It puts you in a higher tax bracket. Also, it hurts a lot of the people that are on a minimum income. And I just think that we need to take more time and do a little bit more studying. I see Winchester has postponed theirs for a week to do more study. And I think we should have done the same. I think when you're raising taxes, I don't see where we need to really hurry into it. I think there's a lot of options out there that I don't think we really looked at.
You mentioned earlier your involvement with swimming. What is your view of the necessity for the
Well, the swimming pool, let's look at the majority of the citizens in our town. A lot of the kids here, that's the only vacation they have is the pool. There's no other recreation there is. They've done away with a lot of the things that the kids used to have. So the pool is really an essential thing. And a swim team, yes, I'd encourage that. That brought a lot of interest to Tullahoma, brought a lot of money into Tullahoma from the swim clubs, because we used to put on 4 or 5 meets a year. That brought in a lot of money. And I know the importance of a swim club for kids. And I think we're overlooking what the children have here in Tullahoma. The only thing they have is a pool. And I really pull that we should go ahead and do something with it before it becomes another eyesore.
Okay. Well, you mentioned a couple of things that you were wondering could be postponed. The roof you mentioned at the high school, my understanding is it's already leaking, John.
Well, I was in Lowe's, a couple months ago, and they had 5 or 6 buckets laying around in there. And I asked the fellow, what's wrong with the roof? He says, oh, you get leaks every now and then. He says, when it dries up, we'll go patch them. Okay, they come out with a school roof saying it needs $1 million to fix it. Has anybody really gone up there and gave an actual estimate of what it cost? The pool is another one, $1 million. Where do they get the figures from? I think that we need to look at getting a company to come in, look at it, and give us a true figure on what it is. Does the roof need to be replaced today, or can it wait? The pool definitely needs to be replaced today. There's no way of patching it. When I taught swimming in that pool, that was back in 20, 30 years ago, it wasn't in too good a shape then, and all they did is keep patching. We've got to start on our maintenance program and have a pre-maintenance program to where they look at it prior to it getting into a major issue.
Yeah. Well, on the roof question, you know, and yeah, the questions you raised are perfectly legitimate. The one thing we don't want to do is sit there with a roof leaking. What you wind up with, which we just went through in the auditorium, you wind up with a lot of interior damage, so that the bill goes up to much higher than $1 million if you wait on it. So that's, but whether there's some other alternative there, I don't know. But I gather you don't have anything in particular that you are thinking about that could be delayed or
I don't have any idea what projects they're actually working on in the city that are scheduled for this year. I wish I did have more information on it. But I just feel that when we start raising taxes, we always raise, but we never lower. And I think it's at a point where we've got to make sure that we're raising it, that we really need it. Now, if the school roof really needs to be replaced, then go ahead and replace it. Don't keep doing like they have for the last 2 or 3 years, saying it needs it, and then they don't. So if they can postpone, fine. If they can't, then fix it. But I think you've got to make a decision one way or the other. And I find on a lot of things we hear, we postpone, when it's cheaper to go ahead and fix it, and then you're finished with it.
Yeah. Well, one situation with the school folks, they have a capital fund project, a capital fund account, which is normally has a good bit of money going through it. The only rub is that for the last couple of years, more than that, last 5 or 6 years, we have replaced 2 schools and done quite a bit of remodeling, so that fund has been run dry, and so the only way they can do it then is ask the city to provide additional funding over and above that. So, okay, Renee, you're up. The budget, the tax increase, what they're doing with the money.
Yes. Well, I like everyone else. No one wants a tax increase. I definitely don't, and don't really know whether I would have been able to have supported that or not. I'm an advocate for our schools, though, and believe you have to be able to pay our teachers to keep them here. We are very fortunate to have a top 5 school system in the state of Tennessee, and you've got to be able to bring those teachers here to be able to teach our students. However, on the flip side, there are a lot of people that can't afford a tax increase, and they look at that because they own properties, and it's a hardship on them. So any increase at all is hard for anyone to swallow. So I don't think that, I'm sure that the mayor put a pencil to it when he was given the request from the Board of Education, but I still wonder if there wasn't other ways that we could have cut it. Just, from things that I've just learned in that going to the board meetings just the past few weeks, and that is finding out that 12% of our students are paying tuition. That's a lot of students coming from outside our city that are paying tuition. Maybe tuition, looking at that might be an option. Changing the classes from the block system back to 6 periods. Those are just options. I don't know, obviously those are things I can bring up, but I don't know whether that would help the budget enough. But I always think that you have to live within a budget when you can, and we need to. The city has really done an outstanding job this last year. 3 of the 5 departments have stayed within their budget or have been extremely close anyway, and have done an exceptional job. And I think we need to look at the school board and talk to them. I'm sure we have a liaison who works with them, but I think we need to talk to them and see if there's other ways that we can try to cut their budget. I don't think you can come back next year and say you want more money, so I think we need to sit down and look at it with a fine-tooth comb and see what we can do to work together. We're all in this together. Nobody wants a tax increase, so we need to look at it a little bit harder.
Okay. I don't think anybody will disagree with the fact that we don't want a tax increase. We don't like them. But they seem to keep cropping up. Well, also, you spent quite a bit of time talking about the school board. How come you decided to run for the Board of Alderman as opposed to the school board? Did you consider both?
Well, actually, I had several ask me about both. Yes, I did. I think I've just been more involved with the city. The past few years, being on the chamber board has really opened my eyes to a lot of things. You may live here all your life, but it's amazing the things that you learn. I'm also a graduate of Coffee County Leadership, and that is an outstanding program Tullahoma and Manchester have. And I learned a tremendous amount going through that, and I went through the chamber and doing that. And I think that when you start and you look at those things, you realize I've been very fortunate to work with some of the aldermen and the mayor. I worked with the TAEDC director, Daryl Brady, before he left, and I learned a lot from him. We've got to recruit. We have got to get out there and work hard to get new businesses in Tullahoma. That's not an easy thing. Most of the businesses that are being opened now are small businesses. Those are our friends, our neighbors that are opening those businesses. I was on the committee for the Think Tullahoma Shop Local campaign that we started last year, and we worked extremely hard. I think that has a lot to do with why our retail sales are up. But we have got to get in there, and all of us as a community work together to be able to enhance our sales and be able to bring it here. We also need to think about our youth. Our younger generation have left, and we're working very hard, and the mayor has done a tremendous job. He and many others have formed committees trying to bring younger people back. I know we've been branded or starting to be branded as the retirement community, and that's not something that I think any of us take lightly, because we all are going to be retired one day, but we have to count on our youth and our younger generation to come back here and have their families here. So it's extremely important to have schools and to be involved. The chamber just gave me more insight to a lot of things that were going on, and the retail and the recruitment and that kind of thing. So that's the reason that I chose running for the alderman.
Yeah, let me ask each of you, we're always extremely proud of the fact that we're in the top half a dozen school systems in the state. And no doubt that costs money. Do we have to have it? How important is it in your mind? We'll come back to you, John.
Well, I think that we look at the budget and we need to think about, well, does the money go to the teachers and the students, or does it go to administration? Now, the school itself is great. I had a chance to talk to the doctor the other day, and I asked him how many students we've got next year. He couldn't give me a figure until the next year. But are we increasing or decreasing in students? I know there's a lot of families that have left here with kids, especially in the area we live in. We've had 2 families leave over there with kids. So are people leaving here? It's not because of school, but because of jobs. ADC has had a reduction in force. A few of the other companies here have had a reduction in force. I went through our industrial park out here, and there's 4 empty buildings out there. So we've got to increase the job market and get and not small stores, but industry in here, to where they can pay a decent salary and get people back in. Our kids graduate from Motlow, where do they go? There's no jobs here for them. So we need to create jobs. I have an idea of how to create jobs, and I did this with the Armed Services Group, is go ahead and get all the retirees and get the ones that have been in businesses, corporations. We have a lot of people who have been in big corporations. Get them as a study group, meet twice a month, and brainstorm. Pick each other's head out of what we can do. How can we get industry? What type of industry can we get for Tullahoma? Now, we can't go out and try and get another automobile business here because we aren't that big. We don't have that big of area. But there's a lot of things we could do. And I think by getting a group together of 15 or 20 retirees, they can give us a lot of insight to what type of business we need and how to reach the companies. Now, in Decker, they've got the Nissan plant and the Mercedes-Benz. A lot of offset businesses rely on that. I know Winchester, they make doors for one of them, the inside doors. Manchester has got a place over there that make liners. Why are we seem to be not getting any of this business? I was talking to somebody from Shelbyville. They're gaining a lot of business over there. And they're making stuff for Nissan and Mercedes-Benz. So I think we've got to go. I know the mayor is working very hard on it, but I think by having this other group, it will give us more people, more insight to help try and get more business for Tullahoma.
Well, okay. John, are we running out of time, or yes, altogether? Well, guess what, folks? We have run out of time. We're going to have to take a short commercial break and wrap up.
Mark, you've won just about everything there is to win in racing. What's next?
I'd like more people to know about ER Extra.
The emergency room at Harton Regional Medical Center?
I just want them to get the best care they can get.
That just gets me right here, Mark.
Maybe you'd like to pay them a visit.
ER Extra at Harton Regional Medical Center.
ER Extra. Extra fast, extra easy, extra great.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Today we've been visiting with two of the candidates for Tullahoma City Board of Aldermen, Mr. John Riley and Ms. Renee Keene. And so I usually give the candidates a few seconds to speak direct to the voters out there. So would you like to do that? And Renee, let's start with you.
Well, I would just like to tell the citizens of Tullahoma I feel I'm a great candidate to be an alderman in the city of Tullahoma. I care about our community. I've been a public servant for many years and continue to want to further that. I've been involved with the school system. I've been involved with the business that goes on with the city, and I want to continue to do that. I'll do my best to bring retail in and to work on other facets of things that we need to do, and feel like that I can be your best candidate for this running. So I appreciate your vote and your consideration.
Well, you cleared that up. You first said you were a good candidate, and I wondered if you were the best, but you just covered that one.
Thank you.
Okay, John, you want to talk to the folks?
Well, I'm John Riley. I have served on the governor's Homeland Security, and I know the importance of being involved in politics. I haven't had a chance to be in it, but I know it's very important, and I think you have to be very broad-minded and look at the whole situation. I would appreciate your vote. It will give you an honest and straight operation, and I just thank you. I thank Channel 6 for their coverage of this. I appreciate your narrating.
Very good. Yeah, we're always pleased to be able to do that. So again, folks, the election is August the 1st. Early voting starts July the 12th. And so you're going to need to get ready to make some decisions. And I want to thank both of you for taking the time to join us and share your views. And thank you, folks, for inviting us into your parlor, and we will see you next time.